I met Steve. But which one's Steve's car? It's like, oh, there it is, that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't see him past all those American flags.
It's getting by these, the Democrats and what they're thinking about. But we're all on board, If you don't think God didn't put that guy in that office, I'm a firm believer. I'm a believer.
Alrighty. Trump just got elected 2-3 months in.
He's about 2 or 3 months in. I said, I'm going to put something on my car that says...
not this car. This is a second car.
This is my second car. This is my second.
Yeah.
So, when we first got started, I said, oh man, I'm so happy he's in there. I said, I hope we get another 4 years out of him because I know he's going to do good things. That's just me and my faith. I knew that we had to have a change. And it didn't matter whether you're a Democrat, a liberal, a conservative, Republican. It was time for a change. This is my golf bag, and I'm an American. I love my country and support my president.
He's got the tape. He's got some American tape in there.
That's for when I make up like signs. I'll go down there and I'll tape them right to the poles over here so they can read something crazy.
Oh, did you bring a sign?
I didn't. Actually, I put it out to the airport and stuck it to a sign right out there on this busiest place. It said,
What does it say?
It says, it came from Dan Bongino, who is a Fox contributor. He said, if you were one of the suckers who bought into the Russia collusion obstruction, he goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dumb do you feel right now?
Well, it's more if you buy into it and go, Hillary didn't also try and do the same thing that they're accusing Trump of. Because politics like 101 is accuse your opponent of the stuff you're doing.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's really amazing thing. As I drive out, I live in South Charlotte, which is Fort Mill.
That's South Carolina?
South Carolina, because it's right here.
So Charlotte's on the border.
Charlotte is right on the border. So when I tell people back in Michigan where I'm from, well, where are you from? Oh, I live in Charlotte, Carolina. They go, wasn't Charlotte in North Carolina? I go, no, Charlotte's in both Carolinas.
It's kind of like Memphis. Memphis is Tennessee and Arkansas. So who is the mayor of Charlotte?
Her name is Vi Lyles.
Vi Lyles?
It's really Viola.
Vi Lyles.
Vi Lyles. She's
Vi Lyles?
Vi Lyles is a
what's a good nickname for her? You guys have to have some kind of nickname for her.
Vi Lyles. Yep.
Vi Lyles?
So anyways, yeah, she just no matter. She likes all the suburbs to come down here and spend their money, pay for the parking, eat at the nice restaurants. I have a buddy that runs Fleming's up here. It's the nicest steakhouse in Charlotte.
Oh, geez.
And he's the executive chef up there. Come up here, spend our money at the Panthers game, go to the Spectrum Center and see the Hornets play, and just come down here because Charlotte's a great city. But if it isn't for us coming down here on the weekends and spending our money, they could care less about us. They could care less about the white people, all the suburbs, because they all think that we're white privileged, so we're just allowed down here on the weekends. In my life, I have never seen more racist people than here in Charlotte in my entire life. What they want to do is intimidate you to thinking, okay, we'll intimidate him and he's just gonna give in. And when they came at me on April 23rd of 2018 of last year, I get a phone call from Uber. Mind you, I did 2,400 rides. Not one problem with Uber or one problem with the airport or one problem with not one.
How long did it take you to do 2,400 rides?
A year and a half. 2 years. Then I hit golf balls because I'm chasing a dream. I was hitting golf balls. I'd work when I wanted. Uber was perfect. It was a perfect. So I was chasing my dreams. I get a phone call from Uber. 2018, April 23rd. I get a phone call. She goes, this is Danielle from Uber. I said, yeah, I've never heard anything from them because everything's always done on just done on your phone, everything.
Yeah, it's all automated.
It's all automated. So they pay me. They just send my money right to my checking account. So she goes, well, we got a little problem, Steve. I said, well, what's that? And as I said, well, what's that? Because I didn't get nothing from anybody that had a problem with me, a customer or anything. You know, thousands of nice gestures. He's a good guy. He's a man of faith. He does this. My heart went in. He goes, what's going on? He goes, well, the people in Charlotte don't want you out to the airport no more until you take your Trump 2020 sticker off. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. She goes, oh, it's their city, it's their airport, you know. She goes, I don't know what to tell you. So what they did was, if I drove around, now Uber never had a problem with me. Not one problem.
Uber doesn't discriminate. I've actually been picked up by guys with MAGA hats on.
They don't just, I had no problem with them. So we got, so I got talking. I said, well, I got talking to you. I said, who do I need to call? She said, well, you need to call Valerie Boston. She's the lady that runs the Uber parking lot out to the airport. I mean, it's a busy airport. I mean, that's where I get all my
airport.
Fort Mill, back and forth to Charlotte. That's what I did. So I tried to call this Valerie Boston for a day straight. She wouldn't answer the phone. I get a text from her about an hour after Uber had called me and said, you're not allowed in Charlotte no more until you get rid of your Trump 2020. I get a text back from her work phone that I got saved here that says, I'll call you back, I'll call you later. So I'm thinking, okay, well, she's gonna call me. And here I am, you know, thinking, getting sick to my stomach, thinking, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's really an amazing thing. You know, how could something like that happen to me after I had been out there for a year and a half with that Trump 2020?
You're a good employee for him.
And I was and she even told me, you're a good employee, Steve. We don't have a problem with you. So I'm calling this Valerie Boston. She won't call me. So the next day, which would have been April 24th, I get a phone call from Donovan Jones. He's the brother of Marquise Jones, who's the city administrator. He works out to the airport. He says, well, this is Donovan Jones from the Charlotte International Airport, the city of Charlotte. I said, yeah, what's going on, Donovan? And he says, well, I'm not a lawyer, but I take care of problems like this. And I said, excuse me? You take care of problems like this? I said, what's the problem? He goes, well, you're not going to be doing the problem is you're not going to be doing any business in the city of Charlotte until you take that Trump 2020 sticker off your car. I said to him, I'll be honest with you, I said, you got me fucked up. So I hung up on him. The next day comes, he calls me again. So, well, let's talk about this. Let's go and just go have it taken off, Steve, and go have it taken off your car and come out here and visit me, and we'll go break bread and have coffee, and I'll buy you breakfast, and we'll get this situated. I thought to myself, in my mind, I'm thinking, is this really happening to me? Is this guy really talking to me like this? So as I'm listening to him, I can tell he was thinking he's just going to go take it off, you know, because that's what they did to thousands of other people. I just stood my ground with
Probably.
them. Oh, without question.
Maybe not thousands, but definitely
definitely some.
Couple dozen.
So this guy's calling me, and he says, you know, and he's like, okay, just go get it taken off. And the funny thing is, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to go get it taken off. You know, because I'm thinking, you know, I want to make that $700 or $800 a week, you know. And if
it's a good chunk. It's a good job. Yeah. I've tried. I just have a two-seater.
Yeah, and I had my own little ministry right in my car, so people get in my car, you know. I'm good to people. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm going to be good to you. Yeah. You know, that's how God intended, right?
It's that killing with kindness kind of.
Yeah, it's killing them with people get in my car and they go, hey, the love of Jesus coming out in his eye. That's how I am. So no, I'll be serious. So anyways. So this went on for a day. He calls me, he kept calling me back and forth. Well, just, you know, and then I told him, I said, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to file a lawsuit against you people, and I'm going to be back out there driving.
Right on, man.
Right? Yeah, I'm going to be back out there driving. So anyways, I took, and I told him, I'm going back to Michigan to see my parents. I said, my mom's not feeling good. I go, I don't want to deal with you people. I don't want to hear from you. I'm going to pray about the situation, and that's it. So I left on Thursday. I got back on Sunday. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to call Valerie Boston again. And she's an old battle axe. It is what it is. I mean,
She's doing her job.
She's doing her job because it came right from this lady right here, the mayor and the city council, because they hate Trump and they hate their country. So I got this. I called her. She didn't answer the phone. Here I am, you know, a week into this thing, and I haven't had one answer of why they did it other than you're going to take that off or you're not working here in Charlotte. It's that simple.
No answers.
No answers.
No straightforward.
No straightforward look you in the eye and say, listen, you take that off your car or you're not coming back here. So I said, and I got back from Michigan. I was laying in bed one night. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drive to that mayor's office every day until she'll see me. Every day I got up here Monday through Friday. I was here at 8 o'clock, sitting on that, waiting for him to open the door.
See what building this is? Yeah.
Wait for him to open the door. After about 40 days, I finally get a call from. the mayor's assistant. She says, "Well, the mayor would like to meet with you. One of the city representatives from the airport. His name is Brent Cagle. Brent's a good dude. Out of all the people that's helped me out, Brent didn't do much for me, but he supported me and he helped me. So I met with him.
What's his last name?
Brent Cagle, his last name is.
It's a bad last name.
He's second in command out to the airport. Second, mind you. So he says, we get up there. I had brought Jarek Smith. He's an elder of a church over there in Spartanburg. Him and his pastor down here. We walk up to the 15th floor and they go, hey, you know, I walked in there with a couple of my black friends, a couple of my faith people that are my faith friends, and the mayor looked at me like, we didn't expect him to bring. I'm just saying.
Yeah, was it supposed to be like some bald-headed white guy like me? With
That's what they thought. That's what they thought I was good. You know what I mean? But anyways, so we sat up there, and Mr. Cagle, first thing he said, first of all, Steve, I want to apologize to you. He goes, we don't train our help good enough out to the airport, Charlotte International Airport. We don't train our help good enough. We just don't do a good enough job. Somebody called Uber, we'd like to have you back. So we sat there and talked for a minute, and he said, come back. I says, I go, all I did out there has been harassed for the last couple months. You know what I mean? They harassed me with the police stopping me, and what are you doing out here? He goes, I promise you won't get harassed.
How many times were you stopped by the police?
Oh, 3 or 4 times during the whole course. Once they suspended me.
For a Trump sticker?
For a Trump sticker.
Okay.
Yep, for a Trump sticker. Right out by the airport. I've even got videos of all of them.
Yeah.
There's just so much of it. So I finally met with her, and she's up there she's a snide old lady. She don't like white people. It is what it is, and she knows that she doesn't like us, and that's all right. So she doesn't say much, and I knew the whole time the whole thing came from her. The whole thing came from Weiler, the mayor, and the city council, all of them. That's why you're all getting sued civilly.
Isn't it 9 Democrat, 2 Republican? So it's pretty blue lean.
Yeah, it is. So anyways, I met with them. Brent Cagle says, come on back out to the airport. Uber lifted whatever they did that they let me back in out there. I'm not out there 5 days, and guess what happens? I get fired by Uber. No, nothing. Why did you do this? Just here, you're fired. To make a long story short, Valerie Boston, who's in charge out to the airport, these people here up at the city building, Weiler and the city council, made her call Uber and perjure herself and tell Uber that she was in my car and I wanted her phone number. Oh, I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. So the next day, I said, I'll fix their little red wagon. I went back out there, got stopped by the police again. They said, what are you doing out here? You were told that Uber fired you. And I looked at him, I reached up to my phone and I said, I drive for LYFT now. And they go, this guy crazy. So anyways, I did 4 or 5 rides out to the airport that day. And guess what happened the next day? LYFT fired me for the same thing. Valerie Boston called LYFT and told LYFT that she was in my car and that I wanted her phone number. Mind you, she's a 65-year-old black lady that I've never met or talked to in my life.
Uber has to have records of who's gotten into your car.
So Tuesday, after 435 days, you know what those people did to me after I was with Lyft? Right after they fired me from Uber, they put a warrant out for my arrest, telling me that I called this Valerie Boston a coward, and they were arresting me for cyberbullying because I called her a coward on Twitter. So then I got arrested for that, or I came down. I had a buddy of mine from the Charlotte police said, yeah, the Charlotte police said, Steve, they got a warrant out for your arrest, a misdemeanor charge for cyberbullying somebody. I said, what?
Is that actually like a real charge in the United States?
For calling somebody a coward?
I've heard cyberbullying in like the UK, but I haven't heard cyberbullying.
But I called her a coward. That was it, and I called her because that's what she is.
Fair enough.
And she knows that. But she.
And you're allowed to say that.
Yeah. So anyway, I come down here, and the people at the magistrate down here at the thing, the lady goes, "What is going on?" I'm like, "I don't know, but this is the craziest thing. This is the craziest thing that I've ever seen." So I don't know, it's a little misdemeanor. So I've been down here 7 times to the courthouse to try to get this little misdemeanor taken care of. And they don't ever show up. They don't show up. This Valerie Boston filed the charge, has never shown up. I've never met the lady. I've never seen her. I've never had nothing. I've never even talked to her. That's the next day I drove for Lyft. So then about a day later, I got this Steve Brown that calls me. He's a detective. And he said, well, everybody wants to meet with you, Steve. Everybody wants to meet with you. The city mayor wants to meet with you again. Jack Cagle, who's in charge of the airport out there, wants to meet with you. And he said, I said, I don't trust you, Steve. You're a liar, He said, no, come out here at 1 o'clock. You and I, Weiler, Valerie Boston, who I never met. So I go out there. You know what the people did? They confiscated my cell phone for 5 days. And there's so much more to the story than, all over a Trump sticker. And it isn't because I think they dislike me. They hate Trump. They thought they were going to get President Trump impeached. They really did.
Oh, they're still trying.
They still are, but they were really hogwashed on it then because they still had the Mueller report in this spot. Because when I put that Trump 2020, I did it because I love my country and I support my president. I didn't do it to make anybody upset. But I got this Donovan Jones out to the airport telling me
let's be a little more fair. Once you have the make liberals cry, you're trying to make somebody kind of.
But I didn't.
But this was after all this.
Yeah,
this is after. See, this goes out to those liberals who get triggered by stuff like this. You've pushed people to make stuff like that. People who are just doing, when we see Obama Biden sticker and we don't freak out, and you used to see Trump Cheney stuff and you didn't really freak out. Nobody was making this make liberals cry against stuff, but this is a backlash from that.
The Muhlenberg Sheriff's Department, they are a sanctuary city here. They just made themselves a sanctuary city.
This is a sanctuary city?
This is a sanctuary city. So the Sheriff's Department and Gary McFarland, they're all sanctuary city. So what they do is if they kicked ICE, they kicked ICE out of town. They kicked ICE out of.
Really?
I mean, how cute. See, Charlotte runs on the low down here because that's how they've always did it. So, they are a sanctuary city that they go.
Hello.
They had somebody. They let an illegal go last week, or about 2 weeks ago. That had been deported 5 times. Deported, mind you, 5 times for sex with a minor, with rape, with assault, 5 different violent crimes. They take him in up here to see the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department, arrest him, put him in jail, and they'll let him back out because they kicked ICE out of town. So they're one of the sanctuary cities. This is the #1 state for sex trafficking, North Carolina.
Yeah, we have a lot of illegals here.
We've got a lot of illegals and
a lot of farmland, so that breeds a lot of illegal immigration.
yes. As this whole thing is happening to me, I'm watching these people up here, you know, because I had no clue what was going on up here until they started it with me. They're the ones that started it.
They did.
You know,
just firing people for discrimination.
Firing people for discrimination. So, anyways, you know, I've just been at these people for, you know, the last year and a half dealing with trying to get this little misdemeanor thing for calling somebody a coward, having my phone stripped to me, you know, coming down here 7-8 times for this, for some minor thing that they could hold me against, because what they're really scared of is me suing them. And once I get by this little case, which happens Tuesday, and I just talked to my lawyer, he goes, "You're gonna win, Steve. It's over with. We got enough. We subpoenaed Uber, we subpoenaed Lyft, and Valerie Boston is the one that put you out there. She lied. She perjured herself just because they didn't want you around out there. They were going to show you." See, what they were trying to do, though, is they're trying when they had me arrested for calling her a coward. They were just trying to save. They were just, once they figured it out, they're just trying to, because once Uber and Lyft, you know, they're going to get sued too. And I got a $250 million lawsuit going against the city of Charlotte. And once I get through this, then I'm going to sue Uber, and then I'm going to sue Lyft, and then I'm going to sue all the people on the city council, because they all knew about it, and I'm going to sue Weiler civilly. So y'all better be paying your homeowners insurance, because that's what you're going to need. You're going to need an attorney, and your homeowners are covered.
You said it.
So, yeah, I don't know what to tell these people, but what they're doing out here in Charlotte, to a beautiful city. I love Charlotte. I moved out here 7 years ago. I mean, I'm all about the kids and being good to people. But these people that are so hell-bent on getting our president out of there.
The progressives. You can just call them progressives.
Yeah, they're not progressives.
Because I've been talking to, some, Democrats or whatever, and they like to talk. One of my best friends is more of a Democrat or whatever. I love talking to him about politics because it's always a debate.
Do you know this Donovan Jones, the guy that was trying to get me to take it off? Because I had never talked to Valerie Boss. I don't know if Donovan Jones is her boss or whatever, but I mean, I became friends with him. He was nice to me. He was just doing what he was told to do too. But he called after they let me back. He calls and he says, come on into the hot shot office, Steve. We'll talk. So I get in there and he closes the door and he gets behind his desk and he says, "So you want to talk about white privilege, huh? This motherfucker don't know me. He wants to know if I want to talk about white privilege." I looked at him, I'm going, "Dude, you know nothing about me. You don't know nothing. What is wrong?" I asked him, "What is wrong with you?" You know what I mean? So then they brought Uber and Lyft into it.
I'm one of these people where even if it was the other way and somebody had a Elizabeth Warren sticker and they weren't allowed to have their job, I don't agree with that. Not in this country. You get to voice your opinion. You get to make it known what you stand for. And if somebody doesn't want to hire you because of that, we'll see you in court.
Exactly.
You know?
And I thought about coming down here to the city building and just applying for jobs and really driving them crazy.
You should still do that.
You know what I mean?
You'll make more money. Huh?
Once they started it, I knew exactly what to do. It's just like fishing. I'd have cast it out there, hook, line, and sinker with these Democrats. It's so easy. They're the easiest people.
They take the bait.
They take the bait every time.
Every time. And that's why, not all of them, but if you cast it out there, somebody will take the bait.
Because they've been so used to getting away with everything for so long.
And even some of the Democrats know, like, hey, stop taking the bait every time. You're just proving their point. Would you quit doing that kind of stuff? So it even pisses off moderates.
Yeah, it does.
The people who are most pissed off by this are moderates. Because it's just textbook discrimination. It's making our country go backwards. It's not good for either side when they do stuff.
They are dividing this country. They have divided Charlotte here with their sanctuary cities, with them not, respecting Republicans and conservatives, other than for us to come down here and spend our money. You know, that's the only time they like us. Come to the city, pay for parking, spend a couple $100 down here. I mean, Charlotte's got a great place. Everybody wants to hang out with Charlotte.
Yeah,
I love Charlotte.
it's a nice place.
But why take somebody's First Amendment rights away from them just because you hate your country and you hate your president? I love my country, and his name is Baxton Winston. He's a thug, and he's on one of the city council. And back in, I think it was 2017, we had President Trump come to town. Okay, he was out at Bojangles Center or something, and so this Baxton Winston was paid by the Russians up here in Charlotte to have his own little anti-Trump rally that drew a couple thousand people or whatever. I don't know what it drew. I really didn't know at the time because I wasn't paying attention.
You can look it up. I'll probably try and find a link. I'll leave a link in there.
Yeah, but he is crooked. He's a crooked guy, and somebody was saying, and that from somebody that I know pretty well said that the Russians paid him. This got so bad that they even had the Fort Mill police where I live go into my neighborhood and ask my neighbors if I was mentally challenged because I'm a Trump supporter. They didn't call me or ask me, but the city of Charlotte police called out to the Fort Mill police, which is, his name is Jeff Helms. He's the chief of police out there, and him and I are good buddies because we play golf together. They called somebody out there, and they had him walking through my neighborhood wanting to know if I had mental problems. And it all came from that lady right up there in the city of Charlotte, Weiler, the mayor. Weirdo number one.
So Steve's going to take me around the airport. We're going to see what he does, or what he did, that we have to spare the citizens of Charlotte from his opinions on things.
We had, 3 debates, and not one time have you seen one flag in any of them debates.
They're speaking Spanish. They're saying like these weird hyper-liberal viewpoints that like moderates don't all agree with. They've distanced themselves into this weird little cabinet that just, I don't want to reach into it and pull anything out of.
Exactly. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do, but they're failing fast, and I don't know, I don't know what to tell them. I know that I for the next 5 years, I'm going to be really happy. And then after that happens, then we can have Ivanka.
Ivanka's going to run?
Yeah, Ivanka will be should be our first female president. What do you think of that, Democrats?
Palin might run. Palin might do well.
I don't mind Palin. So here comes some black folks taking pictures of my car, and I love it.
Oh, are they really?
Oh, yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like,
got like 50. She got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'll bet you there's 100,000 pictures out there here in Charlotte, in the U.S. of my car, because that's just what people do. They look at it and they go, God, he loves his country and he supports his president.
Have you seen those videos up in Boston of people like who get like see like a Trump sticker and start throwing like bottles and stuff at people?
No, I never have seen it because I guess I just don't think about it.
You gotta take a road trip and just film the road trip. Massachusetts would be, you would trigger, I don't know, they would be on trigger alert with you.
All these taxis around here. But they told me that I wasn't allowed to promote anything, but this guy in the green cab, he can promote things, and this guy back here, he can promote things.
Well, I even said this earlier. If you had like a Johnson sticker, like some third party or like that, they wouldn't have been as mad about like a libertarian candidate as they are the Republican candidate. It's really only Trump where people just get deranged. And that's where you get that Trump derangement syndrome. Because I could be like, oh, I voted for Johnson or somebody else.
Right.
And they won't get as mad at you.
I really don't think it's that bad because I've been traveling for 3 years, 2 years, with Trump stuff on my car. 3 years with Trump stuff on my car. I have never had one problem. Not one. Even when I was driving for Uber and Lyft, not one person said, I'm not getting in that car. I'm not doing it. They get in here and I tell them, I never once talked politics. We talked grandkids. We talked You know, just life.
I saw a plane take off.
And the 7th busiest airport in the world, Charlotte International Airport is, and they're the number one, and they're the number one racist airport in the world.
Oh, that's good.
Remember, they don't like white people, so be careful if you're a Trump supporter and you're here in Charlotte.
You know, did you see that video the other day of somebody got kicked off? What's that really budget airline? There's some like super budget airline. Somebody got kicked off for wearing a MAGA hat.
No, I didn't. Are you serious?
People were saying that they were gonna like kill him and that they were gonna kill Trump and stuff. And then when he got kicked off, they all corroborated in a story that was like saying that he was the one starting stuff against them.
So I'm gonna tell you something about the Uber lot out here.
Oh, this is an Uber lot?
This is an Uber lot, Uber and Lyft lot. And there was a gentleman about a couple years ago that was driving Uber out here. And I've told the people here in Charlotte, I've told the security here, they're a joke. But anyways, I told them that there's drugs being sold in the Uber lot, and there's prostitution going on out here. I went down to the Uber lot. It's called a green light spot where you could go and talk to somebody from Uber face to face, you know. And his name was Dominic. And I said to him, I said, so they kicked me out of Charlotte for having a Trump 2020 sticker on my car, but they'll let people do prostitution and sell drugs down in that Uber lot. And he, you know what he said to me? He says, I used to drive out there. He goes, there's nothing we know that there's drugs being sold and there's prostitution going on out there. He goes, what are we going to do? But they spoiled it for me because they didn't like my Trump. But this is the kind of people they don't like my Trump 2020 sticker, but they let people like all kinds of other people. Look at this. I'll show you a sticker that I took. I was out here the other day and there was a guy that Amazon's wrapping cars for people out here for $100.
Oh my God.
So they'll let him have that on his. They'll let him have that on his car, but I can't support my president.
You know what's really fucked up? I've seen like Budweiser cars, kind of like how like they're wrapped like that, but with Budweiser. It's like, how can you promote alcohol on a car? Like, you can't drink and then go out for a drive, so how can you actually promote alcohol on a car?
Because that's what they do.
That should be worse than a Trump thing, in my opinion.
Right. Well, it's more Trump thing. Why is it bad to have? I got to remember, my other car had the American flag with the Trump 2020 back through it. You know, and then on the bottom of the 2020, it said "Long Train Running" on it, and then I had bumper stickers on the bottom that said "Drain the Swamp." So,
We're decked out.
I did 5 rides with Lyft until they fired me. You know. I got 5 rides with Lyft, at all of them with 5.0 star ratings, and the next day I got fired. You know, like I said, I had my daughter and her boyfriend. We went all the way to Mackinac Island over Labor Day, and that was the first time she had been in my car with the new Trump stuff. She had been in my old car, but as we were going up north, I mean, we always ride in the right lane, because I don't like the flags that they rip too fast if I drive too fast. So
that makes sense.
And people go by me and they're putting their hands out the window, pictures, and you know, everybody's taking pictures and stopping me and pulling off if I stop to go to get gas or something. All people follow me right in the gas station. Can we get your picture? Can you got it? You know, I'm always giving away flags or hats or something. I always got something. You know, I always give somebody a flag if they're big Trump supporters, you know, and they pull me over.
People are giving us thumbs up and waves. Especially like coming into downtown, going out towards the airport, it wasn't as much, but coming in downtown, we've gotten a lot of like thumbs up and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been honking and saying hey.
I'm up here every day. Like I said, I shove my United States flag, my 3x5 out my window, out my sunroof, and I'll come to the lights and I'll wheel it, and I'll go through uptown, out to the airport. I'll sit out there. I don't care what anybody thinks of me anymore. I really don't.
So do you ever carry a flag around with you, or is it just your car?
Well, I got that flag, that big flag.
You got a lot of looks from some black guys.
Oh, well, yeah, they don't scare me.
What the fuck? It's like probably like early 30s bearded black guys are Probably not our biggest fans.
No, but they really don't anymore. They don't know what to think. You know, as they've watched the Democratic Party go down the
Please wait.
Take the
ticket.
path they've taken, the black folks are having a tough time figuring. They just don't know who to trust.
There's a lot of black people who have walked away. They got that whole walk away movement. They got Brexit. They got all kinds of things being like, hey, think for yourselves. It's more just think for yourselves.
Right. Instead of being oppressed by the
Don't just go with what the community says, because your community might be full of some racist, ignorant people.
right.
Just point blank, they might be racist and ignorant. Hey!
I've been at this for a year to try to get, the
Exposure.
Exposure.
You want the exposure? You want to let people know
what is
you
going
can't
on.
discriminate against people like
You
this.
can't.
It's
The
not
First
right.
Amendment.